everyone, Kevin here, and thanks for watching The Bottom Line. Today we're in Ontario, California, and heading to Total Cost Involved, also known as TCI. And these guys create some modern chassis and suspension products for classic trucks. As you may notice, I'm in my 62 GMC today, and this truck is a vehicle that could benefit from their products. And other people, may have similar trucks and think, well, why would I need something new if my vehicle runs pretty good? Well, I'll tell you why. These vehicles are around, a half a century old, and there's been a lot of advancements in technology since then. And TCI has implemented these in their systems. So we're going to go a little bit behind the curtain and see what they're all about and see how they can help people with vehicles like this. So follow along. Hey, how's it going, man? Hey. So everyone, this is Jason. He's the marketing director here at TCI, and which I think everybody here extends themselves a little bit more than their title. But Jason, why don't you tell me a little bit more about TCI?
All right, well, we've been in business since 1974. Last year was our 45th anniversary. Did a little something special with some warranties, but been in this building for 40 years, since about 1979. We actually do still have a couple employees with us from the old building. We kind of keep guys around. So a lot of our guys, 25 of us, been here for 15 or more years. Some of us have been 25 or more years. But we take a lot of pride in what we do. Trying to make this stuff American made, from street rods, plastic trucks, muscle cars, of course. Anything from basic bolt-on suspension to complete chassis.
Cool, and I think you have quite a few little projects here. Let's check them out.
Yeah. All right, well, this is R&D. This is where all the magic happens. Anything from new products to vehicle builds. So as you can see, we've got a few projects sitting around. 32 chassis here that we're putting together. This one's getting some special components on it, so it's being done in R&D. This one's really special. This is our new 67 to 72 C10 chassis. So you guys are kind of getting a sneak peek at that. We'll be doing a press release on it soon, but this is the first time it's really being seen by public eye. Project Red Dawn, this is our 71 Camaro that gets abused on the autocross and road course. Project C-Twin, that's our 72 C10 that's got twin turbos, hence the C-Twin. Got a 67 Mustang in the back that we're doing full suspension front and rear on. One of our sales guys' twin turbo Camaros. Got Ivey League sitting here. This truck gets driven to all the local stuff. We even took it to Columbus and Louisville last year for some shows. And even got the boss man over here wrenching on his 67 Mustang right now.
That's pretty cool. See, there's like a half a dozen vehicles in here, but just by looking at it, and I know, beforehand that you guys do a lot of pro touring, try to prove what you can do with your suspension systems. But let's check out the C10 and see what you got going on for it.
All right. So basically, this started out as 4 pieces of raw steel, 134 wall. What we did, a couple different things from traditional C10s. Is we widened the front rails. These trucks are very narrow in the front. They're almost as narrow as a Nova. So trying to get steering column through there, trying to get headers in there, very tough to do. So we widened these out. They're not exactly parallel. They still kick in about 1 inch. But that meant we had to make a new upper shock tower from our regular bolt-in front suspension. So we made a new shock tower there. We did move the crossmember forward to correct wheelbase on these trucks. So you can run a bunch of camber in it, a bunch of caster. So if you do want to autocross, we got you covered. But we're setting this one up for an LS and LT actually. So this one I think is going to get an LT4 with an 8-speed auto behind it. But it has our torque arm rear suspension. This is something we've been testing in the muscle cars for a decade now. Works really well. And it'll work really good in this wheelbase configuration too. So you'll actually see a little note here, 55 to 59. This is actually a 55 to 59 Chevy pickup torque arm that we've made work in the C10. Center section on these trucks is a little bit shorter than the earlier trucks. So we've just got a 12-piece center section with a drive shaft loop. But we will have 2 different rear suspensions available for it, a 4-link and the torque arm. And a really neat option, if you do go to the 4-link, your bracket will be able to be configured to run the torque arm as well, so you can switch back and forth.
Yeah, and I think we're a little bit familiar with the torque arm because we did a video on Snow White, Premier Street Rod Snow White. So you guys can check that out on the page. It's back with a few videos. But it handled pretty well. We were doing donuts in the thing, and it's like, it didn't say, hey, stop. It was like, yeah, we can keep on going. So, these things are built, to withstand some power. So it seems like a good choice for anybody looking to put some power down to the ground.
It's a truck first, so we wanted to make sure it was utilitarian. It's strong, heavy-duty components throughout, but we wanted it to be able to handle like a sports car. So getting it on the autocross or up in the mountains here, to have a little fun with.
And that's kind of something I want to ask you a little bit about, because I mean, the debate continues, and some people don't really know the difference, in how to make a true performance truck. A lot of people put airbags and stuff like that. What direction would you guide people? I'm going to be more towards coilovers, because I think the performance, it can handle the performance that you can put down on it without being too soft and not getting wheel hop or anything like that. What's your side of it?
Well, definitely for performance end, we would choose RideTech all day long. Their coilovers are some of the best we've ever tested. So typically we would push a coilover and we would use our 1,000,001 mile warranty shock. Bags have their purpose. The C10 truck that's sitting behind me is bagged, and we do plan on doing some performance events with it as well. But it's one of their race shocks. So even though it's got a bag over the top of it, it's one of their triple adjustable, it's our custom valving race shock. So you can kind of have the best of both worlds, but we would definitely push somebody for coilover in most of the cases. So if somebody wants to lay them out, obviously bags are going to be the first choice.
All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit more about these suspension systems and why they work? I mean, I guess a lot of older trucks, really old trucks, I mean, that are over half a century old, have like straight axles, stuff like that, which really doesn't compare up to a modern vehicle like we're used to, and the steering, the ride quality. So tell me what contributes to that.
So I'll try not to speak in engineering terms, because that's not me.
Exactly.
But I pick up a lot on what they do. So, we've actually raised the crossmember up. So the bottom of the crossmember is now above the bottom of the frame. First things first on a C10 is ground clearance. Stock crossmember, stock control arms, it's the first thing to hit the ground when you lower the trucks and you go through a dip. We raised everything up. We've compiled that with our own custom spindle. So this spindle is loosely based on a C10, but we've made some improvements on it. One, it's a little bit taller. It's got a different steering arm on it that is specifically designed for a rack and pinion, which means it's shorter. We also corrected the Ackerman. So there's some things that we can choose to do in our design process. So this spindle is built by us for our spec. Also, by raising the crossmember, it also allows us to move the upper control arm mount closer to the lower one. So now we can have more camber gain. For the guys that want to do some autocrossing, that means that you can put a fairly mild alignment in the truck, but still have enough camber gain to have it aggressive enough to keep the tire stuck on the ground in a turn. All the little things that come along with that too. So we've changed the anti-dive, the angle of the upper control arm. We've run a longer shock in here. So we've packaged this whole thing around a truck design, so everything's heavy duty, but to where it's got the performance of a new sports car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're looking at the components here. I mean, like an independent suspension and everything. It's got a modern steering unit. So, I mean, I guess, when you put everything into perspective, that it's all brand new, I guess your expectation is that it can only pretty much drive like new, so putting these things in. So, looks great.
In some cases, better than new.
All right, so is this where like all the suspension components kind of come together? Or?
It is. We call this department small parts, even though there are some large items in here, but these are all the components that will be bolted to the chassis. So Gary here is doing all the assembly for the hubs. Anything from our custom spindle, we've got traditional Mustang 2, and then our custom C10 spindle. All of those will get assembled here. Got some quick reference items up here on the wall for control arms.
Cool. All right, let's see if these things come together here.
Yeah. So this is our rear end room. We use only Curry components, so Curry centers, Curry ends. The tubes themselves we machine in-house. So that way we can build them to whatever length or width that we need and mount our own brackets onto them. But all special axles in here, shorter on the left, all the way to the longer ones on the right. So Novas all the way up to C10s and 55 to 59s. Try to keep as much brake kit, third members in stock, so we can actually get a chassis. We can take a chassis order and within 3 to 4 weeks have it going out the door.
Oh wow! I mean that's really quick. I mean for something that you guys are like actually constructing when somebody places an order, and for it to go out out of here into go to shipping. Yeah, it's pretty quick turnaround. So I'm really impressed with that.
It is, and a lot of items are repetitive. Like doing a Model A frame or a 32. A lot of small block Chevs with a 3-speed crank, but even on the pickups where guys are doing torque arms and special front ends and LT4 engines and 8-speed automatics, still not a problem. So.
Oh, it looks like he's doing a front end here, a cross member, huh?
Yeah, this is our makeshift cooling section. So, usually don't want to touch anything that's sitting here, it's just probably hot. But we just put 3 fans and let it blow up.
All right, I'll keep my hands to myself.
Like I mentioned about the tubes, we machine these in-house next door in our manual machine department. Like I say, we're 4 buildings, but they just get everything ready for whatever order that they're needing in whatever length. We use a rotisserie to weld them. Just drop it on there, hit the button, and the guy can just stand there and weld as it turns. So from control arms, there's a Falcon rear suspension cross member.
So these guys right here, I mean, all they do is they got a fixture, I guess, and they just go to town like all day and just kind of maybe do the same thing, maybe a little bit repetitive, but I guess, it's just what they do and what they specialize in. So, they know where all the flaws are and where, they can avoid all those things, so.
Here's our CNC Plasma. Again, like I was talking about building things in-house, here's where it starts, right here. Really neat thing about our inventory, everything's on a thumb drive. So when purchasing needs to purchase something, they literally purchase it from this department. Bring the thumb drive down here, plug it in, and it runs whatever vehicle they need parts for.
That's crazy how much information could be on something that's really small that can fit in your pocket. So these things are what? Set up in a jig, and then at that point they can configure where the welding, the shapes and all that stuff, and where to weld them and everything.
Absolutely. So each hole, that's going to be a nut surge. So that's specific to that vehicle to make sure that it's all bolt in for that vehicle.
Yeah, I guess these things are made from scratch right here in this facility in Ontario, and and they're able to get the results that they do. It's pretty crazy to think about that, put that in perspective, but pretty cool at the same time that they're all made here and that they can really perform.
Yeah, literally a big piece of steel formed into a chassis right here.
All right, so we've seen the manufacturing of the chassis themselves, but here they are. I guess they're complete, ready to be shipped out. I don't know how many ship out a day, but yeah, these things look like they're all packaged together.
Trade secrets right there. So you'll get 2 pallets. You buy a chassis, you'll get your frame pallet, and then you'll get your small parts components. So your specific brake kit, your rear end with the gear set that you chose, whether it's got the True Track posi or a TSD posi, all of your componentry is housed there. Everything that we can keep on the chassis itself, like the brake lines, the pedal mount, those types of items that are going to be able to ship without being bent, obviously they're going to be right on the frame. But these are all palletized, ready to be shipped to a customer.
Well, I'm kind of curious about that because you see other chassis manufacturers, and when they send out their chassis, sometimes they come a complete chassis, but you guys have them all separated. Now, why is that?
Safety is the biggest thing. So typically when they ship a chassis like that, they're standing on their end. And over the years, we've learned that the amount of damage that can be done on these highways in the back of these trucks,
exactly.
It's just not worth the risk. So we palletize everything separately, and it's just a safer way to do it.
Yeah, I guess, you talked about it before. You guys have years of experience, so, I don't think, you guys are going the wrong direction at any way during this process. So, yeah, it just looks like the way to go.
Been doing it a long time, so you learn just in time. Things go right, you continue doing them.
So we talked about the reliability a whole bunch here and the products that they make and everything, but I really want to test these things out, and I want to get a feel for myself.
Yes.
I drove my 62 here and it's got, a lowered original suspension system on it, but can we take out one of the trucks? Can we go for a little test ride? Can we do that? So,
Ivey League's got your name on it.
Oh, perfect. Let's go check it out.
All right, we got Ivey League hiding in here, man.
All right, let's go check this truck out.
You're gonna have a ball driving this thing.
So I don't know too much about it. Tell me a little bit more about it.
So basically this thing's got our bolt-in Pro Touring front suspension and our bolt-in 4-link rear. We basically took and built an aluminum 6-liter with LS3 heads and dropped a 6L90 behind it. So she's a hoot.
Well, I want to see how it does, how it performs, all that. We got NMCA West event coming up, so if you don't mind, take a lap on there, out there, and just see how it does. So yeah, let's check it out.
Awesome, man.
Keys inside.
Yeah, she's all yours.
Everything good? Is that the anything, or?
Yeah, as long as she's got fuel, she's ready.
Cool. Let's do this. Safety first. All right, so we talked TCI into giving us the keys to their square body Chevy, which was actually the R&D vehicle for their approach oriented suspension for these trucks. And so we wanted to test it out, take it on the road, see how it performed. So far, I can tell you, driving it on the streets, it's like a Cadillac, thing's super smooth, but we really want to put it to the test. So we're going to the NMCA event at Auto Club Speedway here in Southern California. And we talked to the folks there, and basically, we can't drive it ourselves. So one of the professionals is going to drive it, and we're going to just ride along and just see how it goes and take it from there. So here we go. Now we got Rob here. He's from NMCA West. He's going to take us for the spin. What's up?
I am the Racing Birds, dude. And yeah, NMCA West autocross. We're out here in Fontana. I have no idea what's gonna happen. All right, let's see what we do now.
All right, now we did a practice run, so here's the real thing.
Boy, she's a big girl, but she's working. Oh yeah, that was good. We could use a little more brakes. She really sails through that nicely. Little push there, across the line. All right, not bad. Not bad for a big girl.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, I was being flung around there with the truck like just absolutely stuck to the ground. I think we lost grip a little bit, but you know, it felt great. You know, it stuck, it was there. So great job. So thank you very much.
Dude, you're very welcome.
Well, it was an absolute blast taking a classic truck around a race course and seeing what it does. This truck handled pretty well, which speaks volumes for TCI suspension equipment. So feel comforted that if you can buy one of these products that it will perform pretty well for you. So that concludes our video. Hope you liked it. And if you did, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and we'll catch you next time.